This Kenyan guy you see here lives in the United States, and he is $60,000 in debt because he was not paying child support for 2 years. I think you heard me right. That is around 6 million. Is about 6 million Kenya shillings. He's supposed to pay $60,000 to his wife for child support. Why? Because the wife ran away with the children. Now, this is the story, and I think everybody who goes to the United States should learn about this. And this is why I usually say, if I ever step in the United States as a citizen, I can never have a wife or children in that system. This guy, we completed university together, and we both have a bachelor's degree in nursing. We graduated in 2014. Now, some of us don't have relatives in the United States. So anytime we wanted to go to the US, we wanted to use any other means to go to the US. That is why we really struggled to go to the US. But the guy had relatives in the United States. And so he went to the United States as a visitor. He went with a visit visa to visit the family that is in the United States. So when the guy reached there, the guy got a job. He started working as a nurse. We used to envy him. We used to do video calls, and he would show us how his house looked like. They bought a house. Their life was generally good. But there's something that you don't know, is that the wife was always mocked for getting married to a black man. By the way, that thing happens in the US a lot. White ladies who get married to black men are seen as, I don't know if it's inferior or what. They get racially abused a lot. They are mocked for getting married to black people. You know, these white ladies don't like getting married to black men. And if they do, there are a lot of fellow white people who usually make fun of them. So she was mocked. She was ridiculed, even by family members. Why did you get married to a black man? But the lady said, I loved him. And they started getting children. Now that is where the issue became. Because when she got children, the family also started making fun of the children. That you got, the children were biracial. I think you've seen these children. They look white, but they have a black hair. They are biracial. So the family used to mock even the children. And the friends, some of her friends, used to make fun of her. How do you get married to a black man? So the lady told the guy, I love you, but I cannot stay in this marriage. Allow me please to leave, and I will never ask you for child support. So the lady went. The guy said, but I love my children. You know, there was some resistance. I'm trying to make the video shorter, but there was some resistance. This guy did not just allow them to leave because he loved his children. You know, we African men, mostly, we love our children, and we would love to see the family united. So the guy used to negotiate with her and tell her that don't mind what people say, but she said, I have had enough. I want to leave this marriage, and I want to go just live alone. Please don't send any child support. I am financially okay. I will take care of these children. You continue sending money to Africa and doing other things. So they separated. The wife left against the wishes of the husband. So they got separated because of racial abuse. It is not because the husband treated the wife badly or because the wife maybe felt that the man was bad. The wife had already had enough of mockery and she walked out. So that happened in 2022. Okay? Now, in 2025, in 2025, the guy was blocked. By the way, when the lady left, she blocked this man. So he could not talk to the children, he could not talk to the wife, and the guy appeared now like he's not married. Remember, went to the US, got married, have children with the wife gets racially abused, walks out of the marriage, leaves him single and devastated, and she goes with the children and blocks him. Now he's single again, like some of us. But the relief is that the wife told him, do not pay any child support. I have gone and I don't want to burden you with child support. Now, you think that is okay, right? In last year, 2025, the guy woke up and then he found a note from the Attorney General telling him that you have 60,000 in debt. You're supposed to, in arrears, I think, not in debt. You have 60,000 in arrears in child support. You are supposed to pay it. So they gave him a date in court, and the guy prepared, and then he went to court. Now, in court, the guy told the judge that my wife blocked me. She is the one who willingly left the marriage. She went away, and then she told me not to give her anything, and that is why I have not been paying for child support. The judge told him that you are supposed to pay $60,000 back pay. You are supposed to back pay $60,000 because it is not your decision or your wife's decision. This is the decision of the state. it is the government that will decide how you will pay this money. It is not your wife to decide, and it's not you to decide. It is the government to decide. So go and prepare to pay 60,000 in arrears and continue paying for child support. The child is entitled to this money. The guy tried to argue that the wife is financially okay and the wife blocked him and he cannot access the kids. He pleaded with the judge because he already had other debt. The guy was servicing the mortgage, he was sending money, building an apartment here in Africa, and he was doing other financial things, and he was almost in financial ruin. But the judge is telling him that you are supposed to pay that, or else he was going to jail, and if not, his driver's license would be suspended, or he will not be able to borrow money. His credit score will go down. So the guy looked at the consequences. Then he said, no, let me just now prepare to pay for child support. He tried to contact his wife. He could not contact his wife. Now, you see the reason why I say that sometimes if it is not the woman who is oppressing you in the marriage, the government can oppress you. Now, in this case, it was a healthy marriage. The woman doesn't have a problem. The woman wanted to get married. The man wanted a wife. They both got married willingly. They were in a healthy marriage. They got children, 2 children, by the way. They lived together happily. But the wife could not stand racial abuse. She moved out of the family with the children, and she did not want to disturb the man. But who is disturbing the man now? The laws in the United States. The laws say that two parents cannot willingly decide on how they can fund the children. Children are entitled to the income of both parents. Even if the husband is doing financially badly and the wife is doing okay financially, the man is supposed to send child support, and it's not your decision, it's not you to decide. You see the way the system is structured. And now I'm asking him, he's living now in the United States. We both desire to go to the US. And then the US, we consider it to be a land of opportunities. We've never been there. And so we think it's the better place to be and make a lot of money. Now, this guy, he's in a position that I desire. In the US, working as a nurse. By the way, he advanced his studies. He's currently a nurse anesthetist. But he's in a position that I desire. But his financial status right now is problematic because he's paying for child support and he has other financial obligations. The guy is almost filing for bankruptcy because when you file for bankruptcy, it means that your finances are not really very good. But he has no option. He has to file for bankruptcy, and he will lower his standard of living because when you look at the responsibilities that he has and then the child support that he was ordered to pay, now he cannot manage all that. Now, the guy tried to contact the wife and told the wife that, would you please come back so that I can at least experience some relief? The woman has sustained her position for 3 years that she does not want the marriage because she does not want to be racially abused. This particular case made me change my perspective about getting married to white ladies. When we were still in school, studying bachelor's degree in nursing, and we wanted to become nurses in the US, we used to think that the easiest way to get the US citizenship is to go there, get a white lady, get married, and then get citizenship. We thought it was that simple. And indeed, it is simple because the guy went there, got married, and then he became a citizen in the US. But we did not look at some of these things that happened to this guy. And we came to understand that most of these white families don't like it when their daughter gets married to a black man. For some of us, it is okay for us to get married to them. But to them, they start looking like a downgrade. When a white lady gets married to a black man, especially an immigrant from Africa, that is a downgrade, bro. It's a downgrade. So the guy is like he had upgraded. We were admiring him and we thought that he had arrived. And we were some of us were even considering even going there also as visitors and getting white wives so that we can get citizenship. But behind the scenes, the guy was suffering. The wife was getting racially abused. The children are racially abused. And so the family is not at peace because they are always ridiculed. And so the wife is leaving the marriage not because they have disagreed. By the way, he's a very kind guy. He's a guy who cannot hurt a fly. From the way we were with him in school, he's this guy who did not like a lot of confrontations, a guy who did not like a lot of fights. So he's a guy who liked peace. And he was a loving guy because he stayed with his wife for several years. They had 2 children. They did not have a problem in that marriage. marriage. The only problem was that the wife was complaining about how the family and the friends treated her. White family and the white friends, how they were treating her. And so I came to learn that this thing is not even in the US alone. Even in places like Australia, even in places like Canada, when a white lady gets married to a black man and then they have biracial children, the lady is likely to suffer a lot of racial abuse. And this is one thing that you have to consider. And in the recent past, I looked at it and then I said, no, you can just persevere that. You know, being racially abused is okay because I am black. So if you make fun of me because I am black, then what will I do? I am already black. I can't change my skin color. So if you make fun of me, if I come to the US and then you make fun of me because I'm a black man, I don't think there's a problem there. I can survive that. But what I cannot survive is the financial implication. Because as you can see in this case, it is not the wife who wants the money from the man. It's not the wife. By the way, I can confirm here that it is not the wife who needed money from the guy because I know them. Now, it is not the man who now wants to send money because the man was told, do not send money, I am financially okay. It is the state. It is the attorney general of the state that is accusing the man that you have to send money to this lady. And not just sending money. We are looking at the time you stopped supporting the child when the wife was with you. So you have to back pay 60,000 US dollars. Do you know what that means? Do you know what 60,000 US dollars can do in Kenya? That is money that can start an apartment block. That is money that can be invested heavily in treasury bonds and treasury bills. That is an amount that can buy huge tracts of land. But now, that is the amount that he has to pay in child support in addition to mortgage and student loans. You don't know. He borrowed 100,000 US dollars to study becoming an anesthetist. So you can imagine he has 100,000 US dollars student debt. He's supposed to pay 60,000 US dollars in child support, and he also has mortgage, and he also has. Now you see the guy is going in financial ruin because of child support, because the state wants to make you poor. You see, this is why I say that when I go to the US, I can never get a wife because the system is not like in Kenya. And you know Kenya is headed there. Right now in Kenya, if you part ways with your wife, if your wife decides to walk away with children, you can decide not to pay for child support. Even if she takes you to court, you can meander around and then stop paying. The enforcement will not, unless you have a pay slip, and that's why I don't like having a pay slip. Unless you have a pay slip. If you are just a normal businessman out here, you can stop paying that child support, and there's nowhere that woman will take you. You see? But in the US, you cannot avoid that. Do you know if you avoid paying child support? In Kenya, we have a lot of deadbeats in this country. If your wife willingly walks away and you become a deadbeat, nothing will happen to you in Kenya. And some of us think that it will be the same case when you go to the US. No, my Kenyan brothers, if you go to the United States and you don't pay child support as ordered by the court, not even your wife, it is not your wife who will tell you to pay. The Attorney General will ask you to pay for that money. If you don't, you are going to jail. You are going to jail. And if you don't go to jail, your driver's license will be suspended. And you know in the United States, you cannot operate without a car. It's not like in Kenya where we have a lot of borders. When you want to go to work, you just walk, you go to work. In Kenya, the system is more social and we have a lot of support here and there. In the US, there's a lot of individualism. And so you need to have your own car. You can be living here and you work 20, 30 minutes away. You need to have a car. Now, if they suspend your driver's license, it means you cannot even work. So you can't even get that money that you are supposed to get to pay for child support. Or you go to jail. If you are in jail, you cannot work, so you can't get that money. Or if you can't do that, then your credit score will go down. You can't borrow money because you can't pay for child support. So in the United States, you must pay for child support. And I think in Kenya we are headed there because things that used to happen in the US in the 1980s and in the 1990s, they are now happening in the country right now. And as we progress, things that are happening in the US right now, in 2030, 2040, things that are happening in the US now in terms of relationship and marriage, they will be happening during that time. And it will not be easy for a lot of men. And like for the case of this guy, sorry for digressing, this guy now asked the judge a simple question that now I have to regularly start paying for child support. My wife went with my children. Can I now see my children? I am paying for child support for the children that I cannot see. I want to be seeing my children. The judge told him that even if you cannot see your children, that does not cancel your responsibility as a parent. You are supposed to send this money even if you cannot see these children. This court is dealing with money. If you want anything else, you have to look for a lawyer to file another case about child custody. And I was asking myself a question that, so we have two things here. We have a child support case, which is a very different case from custody. So as a man, you can be ordered to take care of your child even if you are not seeing that child. If that child goes away even for 20 years, I think legally, I don't know in the US, the legal age you are supposed to support a child. In Kenya, it's 18 years. In the US, you are supposed to send money even if you can't see that child your whole life until that child becomes an adult. You see the way the system is structured. And that's why I usually tell people that if you want to get married, you have to really calculate well to know if you will be able to stay with your wife and children. Because the moment marriage breaks, it becomes so devastating and it will be harder in the coming years. Right now in this country, in Kenya, it is okay to get divorced. Like for my case, for example, I made a mutual agreement with my wife. Although we did not agree in marriage, we made a mutual agreement that we are going to take care of this child in this way, this way, this way. I will pay school fees. I will be with the children during holidays. Every weekend I have to be with my kids, and then you have to be with the kids during weekdays. And you see, and we have balanced that, and it's going okay, and we don't have any problem. Now, the Kenyan government is not interfering with that. I have not seen any process server coming to me with the demand that I have to pay 60,000 US dollars or maybe pay 5 million for my children. No, I pay for school fees. I visit my children. I take my children. Right now I have my children. Nobody's interfering. But in the US, if I were in the US, the court would compel me to start sending money. You see the way the system, that one, if you want to get married, bro, make sure that you can stay with your wife, because that one will reduce the burden that you will go through. But in the future, because we human beings are different, I don't think it's the right thing to do. Because you cannot dictate a fellow human being, like maybe, for example, a woman. A woman is also an adult. She also has her own goals in life. She also has her own perspectives about life, which can change. Her goals in life can shift when she's with you, and she will decide that I want to be alone. I don't want to be with a man. And you are the man she will not want to be with. And then she has children with you. And then the court will start compelling you to back pay. Now, it means that you have to stop doing any development. Now, this guy is not doing any development because the court is the one that is compelling and not the wife. That is not the right thing to do for men if the wife willingly walked away. Now, that is why I used to say that the state and the wife, they are conspiring to oppress the man. But I want to end this video by saying that marriage is not bad. Marriage is still beautiful. If you want to get married, please go get married. There are people who commented on my video and they told me that, Gidi, I'm looking for a way to here, some of these lands of ours, they have so many parts. Some people commented on my video and they were telling me that, Gidi, you have a negative mindset. I don't know if you will ever get married. You have a negative... No, it's not that I have a negative mindset. I am looking at the reality of things and how they are right now. I'm looking at the practicality of having now, being in a system of marriage. In Kenya, it is still okay. I will definitely have a wife. I will definitely have a wife in the Kenyan system, because the system is a little bit more favoring. It's not like in the US. But if I ever manage to go to the US, I can't have a wife, because I have seen what my friend has gone through, and I read what about other men in the US go through after divorce. I read about what they go through during child support. I read how some men go to jail because they could not pay that. I read about how some men, their driver's license was suspended. Some of them, they lose a credit score because of that. And so it's a very terrible thing to happen to men. I told you that this is where we fetch water, and we have a lot of people who have come to fetch water and wash their clothes. and maybe if I can just give you some glance or maybe some view so that you can see. Habari zenu nyinyi wote, mko salama? Unacheka nini wewe? Nikufunza hii kazi ufanye unataka kuonekana ndani? Yeah, this is the place where they wash clothes, where we fetch water. This is the third place. I showed you the first one. I think there's a video where I showed you the first one, the second one. Now this is the third one. Lots of water here, man. But people who come here don't have water in their homesteads. For us, we have water in our home. So yes, so I asked for permission from that guy to share his story, but I did not mention his name, so I think I'm okay. But I shared the state, so I don't know if by having a negative attitude towards that thing, it will make them deny me a visa to go to the US. I don't know. So let me go and finish our camp meeting. Today is the day we are finishing our camp meeting, and I will do a recap tomorrow on Saturday about what we learned in our camp meeting. And if I have to go to the US, if I ever manage to go there, no children, no wife. Why? Because the system is not designed for a man to thrive. Thank you for listening to me. This is Gidia Kali, and we shall meet again in another video. Peace.